I cringe every time people say things like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady could be the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And Aaron Rodgers on the IR for the second time in his career. And I've always cringed at that because Aaron's great. And listen, if you put up if Aaron never played again and he hung it up today, he's a Hall of Famer. He's been a Super Bowl champ, a Super Bowl MVP, a two-time MVP, a six-time Pro Bowler. He's the highest-rated passer in NFL history. That last one, I don't count. It's a different era. I mean, Russell Wilson is a higher-rated passer than Troy Aikman, than Joe Montana. Come on, it's a different. It's like the steroid era of baseball. I just, you start looking at 1998 in baseball. I just don't even count the stats. Pre-98, post-98 for, 2012 on. But there was a steroid era in baseball where, the numbers are all goofy. Andy Dalton now has better numbers than Joe Montana. What I look at is Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl wins, Super Bowl MVPs, league MVPs, and Pro Bowls. Now, if you put Aaron against Tom Brady, it ain't close. It's not even close. If you put Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. So there's the gap between the two. It's not close. And it's probably this year getting further away because Brady has a chance to get to another Super Bowl. But here's the thing. There's always been 5 quarterbacks that everybody I've talked to that I trust or is reasonable have called the top 5 ever. You can yell and scream and argue, but it's Brady, Montana, Elway, Peyton Manning, and Marino. Those are the big 5. Those are the big 5. Now, Marino doesn't have the Super Bowl, but he's probably as natural a talent as we've ever seen. It's Brady, Montana, Elway, Peyton Manning, and Marino. Okay, Troy Aikman is never listed in that group, and he's not even close, right? Like, you never hear everybody say, well, what about Aikman? Now, I have Aikman much closer to that group than other people do, but if you put Aikman against Aaron Rodgers, well, I'm sorry, he's got 3 times the Super Bowl appearances and 3 times the Super Bowl wins. And Pro Bowls are the same. So I'd argue today, Aikman's far more accomplished than Aaron Rodgers. I'll give you another guy. Let's just do Favre. Let's do Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Today, league MVPs, Favre has more. Super Bowl appearances, Favre has more. Yards, Pro Bowls, he has double the number of Pro Bowls. Well, today, this second, Favre's better than Aaron Rodgers. The guy I've always thought, if Aaron retired today, Steve Young and Aaron Rodgers, to me, have always been the closest combination. They share so many things together. First of all, if you look at their numbers, they're even. But the reason they're even, they're both the same guy. One's a lefty, one's a righty. They're both super high football IQ. Super high IQ, period. Mobile. Accuracy, A+ for both. They both got a late start. Aaron had to sit behind Brett. Steve Young sat behind Montana. Both were mentored by a legend. Favre for Aaron, Joe Montana for Steve Young. Pro Bowls, slight edge, Steve Young. Super Bowl win, MVP tied. MVPs tied. To me, Aaron today and Steve Young are virtually even, slight edge to Steve Young. So again, it's funny about Aaron. I think, and this is not a knock, I think he's peaked, and his peak is damn good. But I have never, ever since Aaron and Green Bay lost to Seattle and blew that lead in 2014, I've never felt the Packers or Aaron are quite the same. They haven't given him the help. I don't think Green Bay right now has one of the top 8 to 10 rosters in the NFC. Forget football, the NFC. They don't. We have a guy that works at our network, Terry Bradshaw. And again, different era. But you're talking about 4 Super Bowl wins to 1. To get into that, and nobody puts Bradshaw in the top 5. So, I hear this all the time about Aaron's an all-timer. He's the greatest talent. Do you know how many great, you're living in the moment. Do you understand? I've been watching this sport for 40 years. Right now, Aaron Rodgers is neck and neck with Steve Young, who doesn't qualify, is the best quarterback his franchise has ever had. Today, Aaron isn't the best quarterback his franchise has ever had. He's still behind Favre. So we're falling in love with the moment. Aaron's terrific. But when you look at the composition of Green Bay's roster today, and you look at the NFC, the Rams are good and young. The Eagles good and young. The Vikings good and young. Seattle's going to reboot. Carolina's not young but good. Saints have rebooted. Atlanta's viable. Dallas, if that secondary gets as good as it could be, Sean Lee and Zeke, Ty Smith stick around 2 or 3 more years. I guess my whole point is enjoy Aaron. I think he's peaked. I think he's a Hall of Famer. But whenever I hear this greatest quarterback thing, you haven't watched enough football. You're living in the moment. He's great. Today, he's Steve Young. Mobile, high IQ, mentored by an all-timer. I don't want to hear excuses. That's what he is today. That's good, but that's what he is.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.